My name is Susan Strong. I was born and raised in San Bruno.
And how long have you guys lived in San Bruno?
Me, 60 years. I was born and raised.
Born and raised.
We came in 1966, right after we got married, my husband and I, and he was in the Air Force and started working for United Airlines.
I moved to San Bruno with my parents when I was a year old, so that would be 1943. We lived in San Bruno until I was 9, then we moved to Millbrae. My husband, when we got married, we moved back to San Bruno. We've been here 57 years.
My family moved to San Bruno in 1956. I currently don't live in San Bruno. My father's still alive. He's 103 and still lives in the home that they bought in 1956.
So back in 1946, when I think my parents, they moved here and then they bought the home in 49. It was potato fields, all Crestmore, all upper areas of Cherry. Yeah, from then forward was potato field.
I have lived here since the 50s. My parents lived in Lower San Bruno, and then when Crestmore was built, they bought a house in Crestmore. And I started, I guess, second grade living up in Crestmore.
We lived in San Francisco, moved to San Bruno, and I started my first year. Crestmore just opened up.
I remember going to Old Edgemont, and then I went to New Edgemont. But I remember Old Edgemont because it was like a 3-story building. It was huge, but of course, to a 4-year-old, everything is huge.
I went to Crestmore High School, and there was only like 1,000 students eventually, which is a really small school in comparison to the high schools now. You just had a nice small group of friends and went everywhere together, and it was just a very close-knit community, San Bruno. And of course now it's so much bigger, it's a lot harder.
It was sort of like everyone had a similar background, mostly blue collar or middle class.
When we got here, there was very few Latinos or Mexicans actually too, because there was already a couple families that I could think of, the Pinedas, the Scueras, Ramirez, and then we came, and then the Vegas, Rodriguez came, the Picassos, but there was no Spanish speaking. My sister and I and another girl were the only Spanish speaking students in Bel Air.
Just growing up near the park was just a really wonderful place to grow up. I lived really close to it, so we could just walk to it and play in the park whenever we wanted. In the neighborhood where I grew up, it was a new housing development, and so families moved in all pretty much at the same time. There was lots of families that had 2, 3, and 4 kids. We used to just play out in the street all day, all night, playing tag and kickball and everything. It was just a really great community.
Grundy Park used to have this creek. The creek that's now underground used to run through Grundy Park all the way. There was empty lots, and you could go down there and get pollywogs, toads and frogs, and tadpoles and pollywogs. And so we did that every summer.
There was women weren't in sports in those days. It was just men's sports. We used to just play outside. When we were kids, we would go outside and play. And, we'd ride our bikes. We had a lot of parties on the weekends. Somebody would open their home, and a group would get together and go to their homes, dance and socialize, and then going to the movies.
There used to be the El Camino Theater, and on Saturday mornings they had the kiddie matinee, and we would walk from our house with a quarter, I guess, and maybe another dime or two for some candy, and we got to sit there pretty much all morning long, all afternoon long, watch cartoons and multiple movies, and the whole theater was filled with kids.
During the summer, we would collect bottles, and you break the bottles to that. It used to be called Albertson's Market, which is on Genovan at the right before El Camino. Now it's called, I don't know what the name of it. is, but it was called Albertson's Market. We would bring our glass bottles down there, get our money for candy, and bring that money to the theater and watch movies.
I used to like the posy parades a lot because they were very homey, very old-fashioned.
The Posy Parade was a big thing. You needed flowers, you went to the neighbors, they gave you flowers.
Then the Posy Parade, of course, was always a big, big thing, and I marched in it one time that I can remember, with my buggy and had a wreath of flowers around my head and decorated my buggy, my little pram.
So the library and museums and parks were something every Sunday we would go to a park or something educational. My mom always took us to the library after school to get our books. And I was a voracious reader. Those are my very favorite memories, is the library.
There was no 280 freeway. It was Juniper Serra. There was no Bay Hill. And we walked everywhere. We would walk.
It was a good life, and still is. I should say was, it still is.
It's changed a lot.
Downtown was so beautiful. We had a theater. We used to go to the movies. We had a lot of good stores there. We had a store called Mac and Mac for teenagers. We go buy our clothes there. Lullaby Lane. There's so many stores that we had. It's not the same anymore.
Cemetery Avenue was very busy, and then when Tan Frank came, it became a ghost. It was the stores were boarded up. It was more like warehousing. It was a lot just sad to drive by.
It was very simple. It was very simple for us. Yeah.
It's grown a lot. Skyline, well, we live right by Skyline College, and Skyline Drive used to be empty. We could really make a fast trip. It's no longer that way because it has really gotten congested. I think it's that way probably everywhere, but there's so much building going on, and we never had so many sky high rises like we have now all over the place.
I think San Bruno is the most unique city for people helping each other, no matter what crisis there is, or volunteers. I think we have the best volunteers.
It's still San Bruno and home to us.